Hi guys and welcome to my channel. I haven't uploaded on this channel for over a year, but now I plan to use this channel to talk about programs, series, films. It's something I've been interested in doing. I just haven't gotten around to it. I just think it will be exciting and interesting to do some talking videos and give my opinions and have a conversation. So as you can see from the title, today I'm talking about the Midnight Gospel that was recently released on Netflix. It's a Netflix original series, so there will be spoilers in this video, so if you do want to watch the Midnight Gospel, then I suggest you go watch it. Very unique program, first of all. I had no idea what this was about going into it. I just saw it on the Netflix homepage. I had not seen a trailer, any talk about it before. And I clicked on it. I saw like Clancy in space. That's what I saw in the description. So I was like, you know, whatever. I haven't watched like a cartoon in a bit, and I do like watching cartoons. I know some people won't watch things because they're cartoons, but I did like this style of cartoons. I thought it very much fit the program, and lots of the scenes were quite beautiful. The animations were really nice, I thought. So props to them for that, because you know, if they did it some kind of other way, it probably wouldn't have worked as well. But the fact that it wasn't so like crisp just made the show that much better. So I think like the show, just the premise of the show itself is really cool. Like the show is great. A lot of programs I can kind of sit and do something else, like sew or I don't know, do makeup while I'm watching, but with this one I was like, I'm gonna have to like properly be focused on this because there is so much going on. Each program's kind of a podcast style, and with podcasts I have to properly focus on what they're saying because they're having a more in-depth conversation. They're generally talking quicker than how people in normal TV programs would have dialogue. So I'm like, okay, I've got to focus on that, and then everything going on in the background of the episodes is like piling on as well. So in a lot of the episodes there's like a lot of violence going on. Like this isn't like a kids program, it's quite violent, a lot of it. In the first one, it's a zombie apocalypse. The president is shooting people, there's blood, there's people dying through spikes and stuff on another one. So you know, I think having this guy Clancy as the main character was really cool because I really liked that character. You could really see his growth. Obviously in the last episode, that's where he kind of came to proper realizations, because through this whole series he'd particularly been living in this kind of simulation, this kind of like not coming to terms with things, particularly listening to other people's stories but not really coming to terms with himself. Well, that's what I perceived it as anyways. In the last episode he's with his mother. Now like it's weird because in this episode his mother dies, then he cries, and she comes then he gives birth to her. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, okay, that's just like regrowth, rebirth, and they're really casual about it all. They're really casual, like you just gave birth to your mum and it's just normal, and then he grows old, and then you know, it's just also casual. In the last episode there isn't really violence in it, so you can more focus on what they're saying, but then they kind of go into space. And the last bit in particular actually made me cry. The mother was like, oh you know, I'm not scared. Like she was kind of expressing how she wasn't scared of it. You know, death is this thing that comes, physical death, but my love will still be here and everything. And she was just really calm about it all, and just like how Clancy was so upset. And also she was calling him Duncan. See, Duncan is actually a cast member in this, so I was like, why is she calling him Duncan? His name's Clancy. So I guess that was kind of part of it as well, like coming out of this simulation, like the actual person is Duncan, not Clancy. So I thought that was really cool. I thought this whole thing really well fits in with John Ballard's like postmodernism theory, simulacra, like hyperreality, because every time he was going to another world to interview someone, it was from the simulator. In the later episode there becomes a problem with the simulator, so there's problems with these things that aren't real, and Clancy had to come to terms with the fact that, you know, a lot of things that you want to be real aren't. You know, come to terms with yourself. But I think a lot of the conversations that all of the conversations Clancy had with the people that he interviewed were very interesting. Now, I don't particularly know why they decided to have all this kind of background violence while having this podcast. It was weird. Why would that be a case? And they were kind of just ignoring it and being like, oh, so what kind of happens when he dies? Oh, he just comes back to life. Oh, okay, that's cool. And then just carry on with, oh, what did I say? Carrying with the conversation. I thought, what? They're not really addressing it. They're kind of continuing on with the podcast. How I saw that was there's chaos everywhere, but it's still important to talk about these things, And I thought it was really funny. He'd just go to another world and be like, hey, can I interview you for my space cast? And he'd be like, yeah, sure. And then they go straight into a really deep conversation. I was like, what? I was like, okay. That's a bit weird. Lots of people kind of relate this show to Adventure Time because one of the people that were involved with this program was also involved in Adventure Time. And I did not particularly watch Adventure Time. I kind of saw maybe 1 or 2 episodes, but honestly I can't remember them. I didn't watch the channel it was on, so I can't really speak to that. But overall, I was really pleasantly surprised with this. The concept is so odd, so weird, but I think that's just, obviously this, if you watch this program you can see that it's weird, but it's weird for a reason, to get these kind of points across, to get this kind of important information across, and take it as you will, not shoving it down your throat, but taking what the characters are saying as you will, because it's a podcast. You don't have to take it, they're not telling you things as fact, because I hate when programs do that. They tell you things, and you feel like you have to take them as fact, their opinions in the show, but no, this is kind of, you're just viewing them talk to their opinions. They're not pushing it onto you. Right at the end of the whole series, where after Clancy's mother properly dies, he kind of dies himself as well. I don't really know. He gets on this bus with with a bunch of the characters that he had interviewed for his space cast, and it was I don't know, it was so confusing. He always collects shoes, and he wore these shoes that were like spoons, which in one of the episodes they kind of used spoons they played spoons to encourage someone he was with. So I thought that was interesting. I don't particularly know what that symbolises, honestly. I'm really bad at picking this stuff apart. I'm not kind of on that intellectual level, but I hope it kind of gives hope, especially through this kind of time that we're in at the moment with isolating. Gives you this kind of reality check, that we're not living in this simulation. Perhaps maybe we are, but sometimes we need to come to terms with what's going on. And Clancy did. He grew a lot himself, and it was really interesting, particularly that last episode, to see him talk to his mother. So I don't know, I really recommend you watch the show. I admit I know I missed loads of things that happened because, as I say, it was hard for me to concentrate with everything going on properly. But I do really recommend the show. It will not be for everyone. I feel like a lot of people will be like, oh, that's weird. Obviously it was weird, but it's like a bit stupid or something. And I did show some of it to my parents and my sister, and my parents were like, what? And my sister was like, this is actually a bit interesting. I am really happy that they created this show. In the end, it's also quite beautiful, like the visuals in it, the ending, I don't know if there will be a season 2. I feel like it doesn't need a season 2 at all. I feel like we saw as much growth and chatting it as we need, but if they want to make more money, they might make another one. But sometimes with programs you don't need to do that. But yeah, I do really recommend this, and if you have any thoughts on it, please leave them down below, and remember to subscribe if you want. You don't have to, obviously, but I plan to make more videos talking about films and series. So yeah, bye.